Let's let it go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Listen to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live and always with nothing but straight talk up in here. My co-host is the wonderful, the fabulous. You guys know how I do it. Every week I'm in the thesaurus looking for an adjective, which to describe him by. I keep coming up with he's just black and he's just wonderful. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning, Dr. Rosie. How are you?
B-E-N-E too.
Muy bien. Wish I could say it in Chinese.
I know what you mean. Well, you guys, we have an excellent show today. And my fabulous guest, someone I've known since she was a baby, who has grown up to be just absolutely outstanding, moved away from L.A., and I said, oh, my God, she got to be crazy. But she moved into Detroit, have landed her dreams and goals, and she's wearing that city out. She's tearing it up. She's doing great things there, just like she was doing here. In fact, I think she's going to merge L.A. and Detroit. We're going to see that there's a place in the sun for us other than in this muggy California. People think everything is so great here. Well, you know, the Rams are there. Well, the Ram ain't put one nickel in my bank account. So they have not impacted my life at all. So we're going to talk about today. We're going to take a closer look at why blacks in the gentrification major cities must seek real estate investment in developing cities, and especially blacks in Los Angeles. So my guest today is Miss Debra Harper, real estate developer, co-founder of Detroit Dream Investment Solutions, administrator for Detroit Land Bank. That's big, y'all. That's big. And co-author of the best-selling book, Wealth for Women, How to Build Wealth Through Real Estate Investing. Good morning, Miss Harper.
Good morning, Dr. Rosie. How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's really good to have you. And I understand you're going to be coming to L.A. soon to do some seminars and just kind of let people know in L.A. what's going on in Detroit.
Yes, we will be in L.A. Actually, we're coming to the Black Writers on Tour Black Business Expo on March 30th. We will have a table there in the atrium where we'll be talking about the investments that we have in Detroit and giving people the opportunity to come to our private investors opportunity session where we'll be sharing details about the great things that are happening in Detroit and the opportunities for people in California to invest and make more money than their money is making in the bank.
Wow. Well, they ain't making nothing in the bank, so, you know, they can take it and put it in their shoe and push it on the bed and it'll be okay. Now, one thing we know, there'll be no more land created and people are coming from far and near to gain access to land wealth in the major cities. So therefore, I say blacks must develop a new mindset about wealth legacy building for the next generation via real estate and understanding that money is green no matter where it's earned. What I'm finding that a lot of people think that they need to invest right around the corner. I guess they want to go look at it, huh, Keith? I don't know why they feel they have to be right around the corner, but there will be no more land. That's all I can say. So it's important. It behooves us to look at what we can do to try to secure real estate legacy for the future. So Debra, in Detroit, let's talk about what types of, they said there's a lot of homes there, and some people say, well, yeah, but they in blighted area, yeah, but other people coming, I don't think they're looking at it that way. And what is the vacancy factors for renters? Say if I came to Detroit and bought a home, bought a duplex apartment, what is the rental vacancy factors like?
So that's a good question. Detroit is a very big city. So it has a lot of different neighborhoods and a lot of different communities. And yes, many of those communities are blighted. I think the people that live here in Detroit that are native of Detroit, that's ridden the economic decline and now are looking at the economy rising rapidly. But they have a sense of, normalcy with blighted communities. So the people that live here accept the living in, conditions that aren't favorable in California. And me coming from California, when I was looking for a place to live, it was very difficult for me because everything that was advertised, although the prices were like for a 3-bedroom, $500, when you got there, the stairs leading up to the door were sunken in. So it's like, there's not enough productive housing, which means housing that is acceptable for people to live in. There's a lot of blight, but not enough productive housing. However, there are areas in Detroit that are very productive. So Detroit is a block-by-block town. You could be in Boston Edison, which is one of the historic districts in Detroit. Barry Gordy's mansion was just sold in Boston Edison. It's not too far from where Aretha Franklin's family was. All Motown is right up the street from Hitsville, Motown. It's very strong. It's a very strong community. The houses go for $400,000 there. But if you go on the backside of Boston, it's blighted. It's sporadic. Abandoned and buildings. There are people that live on the street, but there's a lot of blight. If you go 4 blocks down, there's a lot of blight. So although there are some strong neighborhoods, there are other neighborhoods that are currently going through the revitalization process. And the city has identified 10 communities that they have gathered more than $1 billion in public-private funds to change the market in that community. And we know that as gentrification.
Okay.
So, although that there are some areas, you have to know where to buy in Detroit. There's a lot of mess, and then there's a lot of opportunity. The position that I sit in, working for the land bank, I know about the areas that have the great opportunities that are coming down the pipe. I'm having a meeting with some of the project managers at Housing Revitalization Department for Detroit, so that they can show me the planning map so that we can put our investments in the right location that are going to show sizable, equitable increase over the next 5 to 10 years. So if you know where to go, you can buy some assets that need some renovation, but you're going to get a good renter because they know the matrix on where people are going to rent. People are interested in renting certain neighborhoods, and these 10 neighborhoods have been identified as the places that will increase density because of a lot of different factors. Strong schools, there's an influx in millennials that are coming here for great new jobs, a great hospital, Healthcare is one of the biggest industries, second to auto manufacturing in Detroit. Near IT areas, IT is another big industry that's here in Detroit. So they've identified these areas that have strong projections for growth.
Okay, so there's a lot of opportunity for jobs in Detroit. But what about people from far abroad, foreigners? Are they coming into Detroit to invest?
Yeah, the Chinese have been there for a while. The Chinese and the Arabs have been there for a while.
Yes, well, Detroit has probably one of the biggest Arab community, second, I think, to New York. So, yes, there is a big Arab community. You got Dearborn, which is 50% Arab. They got Hamtramck. So there's, there are Arabs here. And yes, the Chinese have invested a lot in the country, in the city. However, the Mayor Mike Duggan, he's changing the frame on foreign investments that are sitting on their investments and not turning their investments into productive use, meaning renovating those places so that people can rent them and increase the market. So, they litigate those type of foreign investments. If you're sitting on properties that you bought 10 years ago and you're not renovating them, they'll send you to court until you put them to use. Mike Duggan is about putting Detroit back into use. That's why it's called the comeback city.
So they're not allowing them to actually park their assets, because a lot of Chinese and say East Indians are actually buying property as basically park money in the United States away from, say, taxes and other things outside of their own country. So, yeah, that's a good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
So Detroit's not having it. Detroit is not also having slumlords. There's now an ordinance where your rental property has to meet the Building and Safety Authority criteria to be rentable. You have to get a certificate, and you have to maintain the property as for livability for people that you rent to. So Mike Duggan is really about changing Detroit around. There was a big, 10 years ago, people didn't want to walk down the street in downtown. Now downtown through Midtown, where the property value was around $1 per square foot, now is $3 or more per square foot. 740 square foot 1-bedroom apartment is now renting for $2,300 down.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So
that's great.
I live downtown. It's a great place. They have done over 10 years. It's a great place. It's a great place to be. It's very much designed around the millennials. So, Mike Duggan is about the 20-minute neighborhood where, when you come home, you can walk 20 minutes. You can walk into any facility that you need, an amenity that you need to live. So that is the framework that they're rolling out for these 10 neighborhoods.
Wow, that's really interesting. I know a lot of people talk about investment, and I've heard them mention Detroit, but I think they go online. I like what you're doing, your organization, because with you working for the large land bank, it's like you kind of know where things are. I think a person needs to know someone versus just up in the air trying to invest, because you're right there, so you know what the neighborhood is. Because I would like to buy some rental property. Right.
So we have our model. We have actually it's a 3-tier model. So we're looking for investors that would invest in our property class. And what we do is we work with a lot of wholesalers here in Detroit. Detroit Dream has been doing a lot of events in Detroit, so a lot of networking events, a lot of workshops with the people here in Detroit. Because just because people live here in Detroit doesn't mean that they know about the opportunities, because, hindsight is, you have to see the forest for the trees. So we do a lot of workshops. Yeah. So we meet a lot of wholesalers. We know a lot of general contractors because, we work, I work, close proximity with the city. I know a lot of people that are able to, I know all the people to be able to renovate a property, and you get what what you're promised on your estimate, because you can meet people in Detroit, if you live in California, you live anywhere, that will say they can do something and can't do something. I'm not trying to paint paint a rose-colored picture, but for Detroit Dream, we've already done that legwork. I've been here 3 years. I've already made those type of relationships, and we've done the legwork, so any investment that we get, we know that we can deliver upon what we promise. So that is important when a person is looking to invest in Detroit. So we have projects that we identify. We buy wholesale. We do a whole financial on the properties that we buy, and we look for investors that's willing to invest and turn a profit on their investment, annual profit on their investment. And then our secondary, we have, once we renovate properties, people want to own their own home, and they can't buy in California in some of these more competitive markets, so they can buy a turnkey property from us, and then they'll cash flow every month on the rents, because we will then find the right tenants for the home. We'll property manage for the home. We'll manage the assets. If there's any issue with the city, you know, that's not a scary thing. There's always issues with the city that you have to mitigate. So it's better to have a relationship with an asset manager like Detroit Dream, to where we can go in the city and we have the relationships to be able to work through any problems that may arise. And then with our turnkey investors, we also talk about a 5-year plan where they can leverage that asset and get a mortgage on the house after it has been productive for 2 years, 2 to 3 years, pull out their initial investment, and then after 5 years, and then they're just cash flowing. Their net cash flow is just pocket money. And then after 5 years, when they rent has paid them a sizable income, supplementary income, then they can liquidate when that property is now at the top of the market. All of the activity has gone, and now the market has improved substantially. You know, last year, it was just reported, residential properties have increased 20% over the past 5 years. Can you imagine if you bought something now and 5 years later, 20 to 30%, that asset has increased in value? You can sell that asset at the top of the market at that time, and then you liquidate, and now you have more equity to buy more.
Right, that makes sense. Shawana, I think you had a comment.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about the 10 neighborhoods that you think are good to purchase in, and then also, where do you see the market in like 2 years from now out there in Detroit? I mean, we are getting a slight slowdown. I'm just curious.
Yeah, but Trump is actually forcing, because of the Chinese competition, he's actually forcing a lot of industry back into the United States. So a lot of the stuff that was outsourced into Mexico and China, he's actually pushing the industry back, and
he brought all the corporations back.
That's how come he gave them a big ass tax break, because he's forcing them back into the country. So I think Detroit is one of the places that's targeted. I think, like, is it Chrysler that's actually starting to build plants, and a couple of others they're actually building new plants in Detroit?
Well, excellent. Yes, Chrysler and Fiat are building a new Jeep in Detroit, which is right in one of those 10 neighborhoods, and they're promising 5,000 new jobs from that.
Plus all I think they're trying to push in start up because of the self-driving car initiative. There's going to be a lot of techies that are actually going to move toward like downtown Detroit, because anytime you have self-driving cars, you got to have you have to have programmers, you got to have certain types of engineers and other kind of stuff, right?
Yes, the tech industry is huge in Detroit, and there's a lot of incentives for tech businesses to come into Detroit. Actually, our community development model. So, I was on this radio show in 2014 when I was advocating for homelessness. So, a lot of those things that I talked about there with my organization, my nonprofit organization, Chapman Community Foundation, I have been reviving in Detroit, because it's a blank slate for us to realize communities the way we see them. And just so happens the vision for my housing plan is aligned with Detroit Future City Plan. So with all of the developments that are going on here in Detroit, there's a huge deficit in workforce labor to support construction and some of these jobs. So what we do with our community development program. We have houses. We actually have 4 two-family flats that we're looking at acquiring, and they will be houses for youth and returning citizens into communities. They'll be single-room occupancy, and while they live in our homes, they'll be trained in some of these to be skilled trade workforce labor for some of these jobs that are currently available but have a deficit in skilled trades.
Yeah, go ahead, Shawana.
Let me give the phone number out and we'll come back. For those who listen and care to talk to our guest, Debra, and our co-host, you can reach us at 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733, or you can email us at innerlight, INNER, innerlightradio@yahoo.com. And that's 310-928-7733. Have a question or comment, feel free to call. We're talking with Miss Debra Harper. She's a real estate developer, co-founder of Detroit Dream Investment Solution. She's an administrator for Detroit Land Bank and co-author of the best-selling book, Wealth for Women, How to Build Wealth Through Real Estate Investing. And she's going to be here this weekend at Black Writers on Tour and Southern California Black Business Expo. She will be positioned in the atrium. You can stop by and ask her a question, pick her brain. She's going to be there. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to know those 10 neighborhoods. I would love to know the 10 neighborhoods out there that you're thinking are the best neighborhoods to invest in.
The 10 neighborhoods. Okay. So we have Jefferson Chalmers, which is in East Detroit. And I don't know them all off the top of my head, but Jefferson Chalmers is in East Detroit, and you can get the other ones at our workshop.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, Jefferson Chalmers. Where I would say that one because where that Chrysler Fiat plant is in Jefferson Chalmers.
Okay.
So that is a key neighborhood to come in. But we will be sharing those 10 neighborhoods and giving you some background on those neighborhoods when you come to our event. So that is a key neighborhood to come in. But we will be sharing those.
So you got to mute your feed.
And giving you some background on those neighborhoods.
Caller, you have to mute your feed. Caller.
That is a key neighborhood to come in. But we will be sharing those. You got to mute your feed. And giving you some background.
Caller, you have to mute your feed.
Right.
Okay. All right. That's better.
Well, the other thing, look like it's going to be a lot of jobs flowing into Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
What do you think about the market in a couple of years? Do you see anything or what?
I see the market having at least a 25% increase over the next 5
years. Yeah, I'm reading Forbes right now. It said Detroit is America's newest tech hub. So this is playing. Basically, this is a promise. In fact, I think Trump threatened the auto manufacturers like last year about bringing more jobs into Detroit, and so this is probably going to be a focus.
Wow!
And he admonished
we're going,
GM for he admonished GM for laying off their workforce. I think over 1,000 workforse that they laid off because they phased out one of their developments. Detroit is hot, and there might be slowdown in other markets, but Detroit is at such a place where if you're not investing now, you're not in front of the new wave. It's like now is the time to put your money in Detroit.
Yeah, basically they're going from a assembly line worker to more like a tech worker. So you're getting a different kind of worker. In other words, instead of the factory worker, you're getting the tech worker, which is probably could be more money because to get the tech workers instead of a factory worker earning like $50,000-$60,000, you could get a tech worker actually making $100,000 to $150,000. So it's going to be a different kind of worker. That Detroit is.
I mean, I know at one time you could buy out there for $5,000-$10,000.
Yeah. It's going to be be like Silicon Valley. So what we're going to have to do is make sure this information needs to be shared with our communities so we can get our people into the right profession. We got to know where we lean and where the money is going to be. And so it's really going to be important because we don't want all these jobs to be developed and people have to come from India and other places to fill these jobs. I think we have a caller. Go ahead, caller. I think Gwen is on the line. Caller?
Unmute yourself, caller.
Okay, so I think this is the time now for us to start looking at high schools, start looking at curriculum, because these are outdated, dilapidated schools. I'm telling you, they better step up a notch and stop wasting parents' money. 12 years, you buying clothes and bus pass and lunch and sending them out to school, and they get out and not even equipped for the market at all. After 12 years, you ought to know how to do something. If you never put a day in college, you ought to know how to do something. It doesn't make sense. Time have changed. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, like I mentioned about the Detroit, about our Champ Community Foundation that we have here in Detroit. So we have deficit in skilled trade labor for construction. There is a high demand for healthcare professionals. There's a high demand for tech to fill tech positions. And I'm a Salesforce administrator for the land bank. The land bank, basically, everything that's run on the land bank is run on Salesforce. And so I am the only black woman, black person, black woman on the team, and I monitor that database. Well, all relationships that have to do with the houses run on Salesforce. So everything touch bases: the fire department, the mayor's office, the city council, the district managers, all touch the Salesforce database, and they're currently expanding that infrastructure, and there's not enough Salesforce administrators trained to run that system. But that job opportunity is going to grow. So our participants in our Champ Nation program will be trained as Salesforce administrators. You can be remote and be a Salesforce administrator as long as you're certified Salesforce administrator. You can work for anybody all over the world, but there are going to be opportunities for workforce labor that's trained in Salesforce. That's IT. That's an IT-driven job. So, we're forward thinking. We want our communities to be able to sustain where they live. Gentrification is not the bad thing. Our communities have to become gentrified. We have to gentrify them. If they're below market, if their assets are not in productive use, once you make those assets into productive use, that increases the value. How do we close this gap on having the properties increase, renovating the properties, but not displacing the people who have written in those communities, the ups and the downs of the communities in Detroit, which is 95% black? We have to train them in economic sustainable jobs. It doesn't mean that they have to go to college. People who are going to college can't find a job, but people who are workforce labor, who's trained in skilled workforce, can take care of their families no matter what their background may have been, whether they were foster care or whether they were, aged out of correctional facilities. We need to train our able-bodied community to be able to increase their income in viable positions, become small business owners. There commercial corridors all over these neighborhoods where you can purchase commercial buildings and put in your shops. And, we can, patronize the shops. They have a black supermarket that's currently looking for funding. They have restaurants. We will be doing growing urban gardening. Detroit is big on urban gardening.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Since I've, heard about Claude Anderson and his fish farm, we even have a component of growing industrial fish, commercial fish, having that fish water fertilize our gardens, and then converting one of our places that we have into a community cafe where it's garden to table food, having an industrial kitchen where we can train the people in the community on healthy eating. We can train them on canning and baking, and we sell those things in our community garden, and then have even, health therapy in the other rooms that are available so that we can heal our community. So Detroit Dreams motto is the property, the people, and the place. We renovating the property, we're helping the people increase their income, and we're creating the place, the community that people want to be valued in and that want to move in.
Wow. And I just see something on the board that said the mortgage rate is lower than it's been and more for years. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if the interest rate is lower, this is also a good time. But what I want to say to those who listen, if you can't purchase property by yourself, piece up. Get with someone else, someone in your family, a friend, and start buying land. Like I said, there will be no more land created. So we can't wake up years from now and say, well, black folks need to have some of this land. You got to buy it. And when you buy it, you need to keep it. You need to create a living trust so you can perpetuate your wealth versus having your property go into probate, being lost and sold. Folks, we have so much resource at our hand. When I do trusts, I have clients who have 600, 150 acres of land all across the South, and they're doing nothing with it, and their children have no interest in even going to see what it looks like. So we need to put something together and then buy the land ourselves. We just need to buy some land, you all. I'm telling you.
So if people would come to our investor workshop, it's a limited seats. And if they register and we will send them, if they come to the event, the Black Writers on Tour Expo, and come to our table, we will give them a registration voucher. So if you're interested in investing in Detroit, that's the place where you can come and find out how you can do it. Our minimum investment is $50,000, and don't let that scare you because, like Dr. Rosie just said, piece up. 5 people at $10,000, you're able to be a part of something great. So, come and see what we're talking about. See what, we have videos. We want to show you what we have going on in Detroit. And once you come to the investor workshop, that's on Wednesday, April 3rd. It's at Hot and Cold Cafe in Leimert Park. Mm-hmm. Once it's from 6 until 9, and you'll be able to get all the details on what we're doing. So we're making it easy for you. My partner, Sabrina Horton, we started Detroit Dream together. She is our investment relationships director, and she's local in California. So she works with all the investors in California, and we've created a pipeline for investors from California to be able to make a great return on their investment annually and still live where they want to live. One of our mentors, Monique Helm, she told us, live where you want, invest where it makes sense. And so we've laid the foundation for people in California that have the disposable income, the liquidity, and can't invest in California and get the types of returns on their investment that makes sense, but you can do it in Detroit.
Wow, that's a mouthful. 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733. We're speaking with Ms. Debra Harper, real estate developer, co-founder of Detroit Dream Investment Solution. She's administrator of Detroit Land Bank and co-author of the best-selling book, Wealth for Women, How to Build Wealth Through Real Estate Investing. And I think that's so excellent for that book because women are really stepping up to the plate. Women are really doing it, and I applaud you because there are not too many. Well, I don't want to say too many, but it is. Many women are head of households, taking care of their children, and these same women are the ones who are taking care of their elderly parent in many cases. I'm not saying men are not doing, but it's just statistical fact. There's more women that's doing it. We recognize that there are men out there who are single parents who are doing a great job with taking care of their children, and there are many of them who are also caretakers for their mother and their father. But we want to say when we can raise and lift the women up, also, it's going to make a big difference in how we begin to transcend our wealth. So I'm real appreciative, Debra, of having you. And just to think of someone I've known since you were a baby. Probably put diapers on you. I probably was there. But in fact, I used to babysit Debra. Her mother was a registered nurse. We worked at the same hospital, and she worked 11 to 7. And she didn't have a babysitter. And I said, well, I lived about 5 blocks from the hospital. I said, well, I can keep them. They can, stay with me. And she go, well, how much you going to charge? She was working 11 to 7. I said, well, it's not going to be any babysitting from 11 to 7. You bring them in their pajamas. They go into bed, and they better not get up till you come. Oh, so here we are today, Miss Debra. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I've learned a lot from you, Auntie. I've learned a lot from you. I pay attention.
All right.
Yes.
So we're talking about a close-up look at why blacks in the gentrification major cities must, I said must, right now, not tomorrow, seek real estate investment in developing cities, and especially blacks in Los Angeles, because many blacks in Los Angeles, the average one, cannot afford to buy a hen house in Los Angeles. Okay?
That's true. That's true.
But it doesn't mean that you should not make an investment. So you have something to leave your children and your children's children.
That's where basically this is where most of the wealth is blacks in New York and Los Angeles. That's where the wealth actually is. The thing is the cost of living is so high you can't really use it. But elsewhere, for the vast majority of the country, actually your money goes a long way. So.
Right. Well,
yes,
Tim just passed me a note, you guys. He said to me, "You're always preaching about peace up." That's right. Keep it going. He said, but that is my question. How do we get the men involved? Because the income gap will be wider and not healthy to build a family.
We got a caller that's listening in the background, so we should probably take that caller.
Go ahead, caller.
Oh, he hung up on her. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
What was the question, men?
No, he said the question is, how do the men get involved, because the income gap would be wider and not healthy to build a family?
So that's a good question, and we're not about just isolating women in building wealth. It's about a comprehensive family opportunity to build wealth. Women, our book is focused on women because real estate is a male-dominated field, primarily white male-dominated, but, historically, there's more men that would be willing to take the risk and invest in real estate.
Hello, this is Gwen.
Okay, Gwen, go ahead.
Hi, I had a question. I'm really enjoying this program. As you know, I'm in real estate here in Los Angeles. And so I wanted to find out, are you involved with the opportunity zones that's being advertised right now, the tax incentives for people who want to invest so that they don't have to get taxed on any capital gains? Are you familiar with the opportunity zones?
That's a great question, Gwen. Yes, that's part of our presentation on Wednesday. We know where identified all the opportunity zones. It's like an overlay. The opportunity zones with those 10, they call them strategic neighborhoods. Those 10 strategic neighborhoods are overlaid on them. So we will be talking about how we also have an opportunity zone fund that we're creating for our people to put their capital gains in the opportunity zone fund.
Oh,
okay,
good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Gwen, I know you will be at Black Writers on Tour in Southern California.
Oh, absolutely.
So you'll get a chance to. to talk to you.
And we'll be at the Hot and Cool Cafe, too, on Wednesday for the 3rd.
Well, Gwen, definitely come to our table, and we'll give you a guest voucher and for you to attend the event.
And I want to invite some of my investor friends as well, so how would I do that if they don't make it to the Black Writers on Tour?
We have a link to the Dr. Rosie, can you email blast our link to the investment workshop?
Yes.
It's an Eventbrite link, and they can register today.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, and great program, Dr. Rosie. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gwen.
You can also find out more about what we've done in the past. Well, we're currently revamping our website, which hopefully will be up sooner than later. But we do have some information on our website, and that is www.detroitdreamis, that's DetroitDreamIs.com.
Okay. Okay. Well, we really appreciate, having you, Debra, as a young African-American woman that's on the move, left L.A. and coming back like Rambo. I'm coming back to get you.
I definitely,
Hello.
it's the best move I could make.
Hold on a second, caller.
Oh, hold on. We have another caller. We're going to take the caller. Go ahead, caller. State your name. Where you calling from?
Hi, good morning. This is Sabrina Horton calling from Los Angeles.
Okay.
Hi, partner.
Hey, I got in. I got through. Yes. Hi, Dr. Rosie Milligan.
How are
you?
I'm good. Looking forward to meet you.
Oh, yeah, wonderful. Yeah, we've met one time before, a long time ago. I used to attend Craft Unity, the Church of African Spirituality over on Western.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, I met you there a long time ago. But yeah, so I met Debra, your niece, I guess about a year ago. It's been a year, a little bit over a year. And we met through, as she said, another real estate investor mentor in one of her webinars. And we had to link up with a partner as part of our homework assignments. And so I wanted to link up with, a good person, of course, and so every time Debra talked during our calls, I was like, oh, I want to link up with her because she knows what she's talking about. She's a little bit more advanced than the rest of us. And so ever since then, we've been connected and we're business partners. And I've actually gone out to Detroit 3 times in the past year to explore and see it for myself. And Debra has shown me around a lot of different neighborhoods and showing me exactly, like what's good, what's bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because I was so excited that some of these properties were only like, $5,000, $10,000. And I'm ready to buy up, something really fast. But, she's warned me back then that, it's a lot of, you just got to be careful. You got to find the gems and know the best places where the path of the revitalization is going to be taking place. So I appreciate her for that. And but I'm ready to invest and, purchase something so I can get some cash flow coming in. So we're real excited.
Wonderful.
And,
well, we're looking
I just want to thank you again for having us on.
Thank you. I'm happy, to know that you all are doing what you're doing. Yes, because it's time to get with it, So we're not playing. In fact, Debra, I think I'm going to hop on a plane and come on down to Detroit within the next month, okay?
Well, we're having another event in
Detroit. With that. I'll be with you.
Okay, well, we'll be talking about our event that we're having in May, May 15th.
The 18th and the 19th.
Okay, thank you, Sabrina.
That's where we chose that date for Malcolm X's birthday.
Okay, and that's in Detroit. Let's take another call because sometimes they're calling from work and they don't want the man to catch them on the line too long. Go ahead, caller.
Caller.
Caller?
What's your name and where you calling from?
Okay, maybe they just want to listen.
Okay.
But I'm really excited. I really am. Keith, this is awesome, you all, to bring this, because nobody's talking about what we can do. And a lot of people, Debra, got caught into about 10 years ago, when blacks had the investment fever, and they were just buying every place. 3 houses in Memphis, 2 in Arkansas. They never saw the property, didn't know anybody there. And I know one person lost 5 houses he bought, And he and his wife almost divorced her because she was ready to retire. And after he did that big loss, she had to stay on her job, I think 5 more years. So, she was about through with him. But anyway, I don't want people to feel like because they went through that, that I'm not going to ever invest again. Because sometimes our people really do have bad habits about being wounded, and I'm not going to do that anymore. I mean, investment is what it is, folks. You got to understand what investment is.
It is risk, yeah.
But you know how many times Trump went bankrupt? I don't think people understand how many times he went bankrupt and came out stronger on the other end with real estate.
Yeah, and a lot of people bought at the top of the market too. So this is closer to the bottom, especially for the Midwest. It's really been depressed for like the last 7 or 8 years in the Midwest.
And I'd rather go out knowing that I tried than to go out knowing that I didn't do anything. I think my family would appreciate me more knowing that I tried to make a difference, that I tried to invest, I tried to have something to leave to them, than to know that I just sat here all these years and took up oxygen.
Right. That's true. That's true. And like I said, investing now in Detroit, it was hard to invest in Detroit 5-10 years ago because
it was.
The infrastructure wasn't in place. I mean, there were still communities that didn't have street lights because there wasn't enough money to keep them on. But now the tide has turned, and the concept that Detroit is a viable place has been proven out with downtown and midtown, and the numbers show. So anybody who invested and rode that initial rough time, wasn't sexy, but it was smart. So now we're in another wave where, we have this foundation laid, and now we're going to mimic what we were able to do here into these 10 neighborhoods. So people need to be ready to put their money at the bottom, because now this is the bottom, in order for in the next 5 to 10 years to see sizable growth. And the reason I say 5 to 10 years, because whatever gains you make from investing right now, you can then roll those gains over into the opportunity zone. That means your capital gains will not be taxed until 2026, and when they are taxed, it will be up to a 15% reduction in your tax. And then any dividends that you make from the investment from rolling your gains over into our opportunity zone are zero taxed. So every time you cash flow, you're zero tax as long as your principal stays in for 10 years. If we keep our investment in a 95% black community, invest in residential, invest in commercial corridors, all the money that we're making that's staying in there for 10 years, we're able to ride this wave of revitalization that has been put here. It's no respecter of person. It's about us putting our money into it, owning the piece of the gentrification that's already coming down the pike. Don't let everybody else benefit from that. It's time for us to benefit. It's time for us to learn from other people who have taken over our communities all over this nation and keep a piece of what we have in the chocolate city of Detroit.
Wow. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand where the industry is going and where technology is going. And with the job market in a lot of cities, some people in L.A., we got to have a class or something, Keith, and show people how not to be afraid to launch out. Debra left this big city, left her big family, left her family here, and went to Detroit. Now look what's happening, how her life has been turned around. We cannot walk in fear. Sometimes you have to get up out of here and go someplace else. You can have 2 places. You can live in L.A. and own property in Detroit. In fact, you can live in Detroit and Los Angeles. We're going to have to broaden our horizon and realize that this world, this country, is built for all of us, not just for some. We make it for some because we give away our power. But the people who are investing in Detroit, these are people in other countries. They have no intention of ever coming in here, but they want your money. So why can't you get it?
Right.
But I've done all the hard work. I left California. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, just like you're saying, a 10-year investment. I know back in the day when I still invest in real estate here in Los Angeles and Vegas and different areas as well. But I know back in the day, I remember one time I was buying a duplex. It was a boarded up property right off of San Vicente in La Brea. And we all know that that is a hot area. But at the time, the property was for sale for $120,000. That was at the top of the market. And I thought to myself, I hesitated. Then I decided to go ahead and buy it anyway. And that was one of my first properties that I bought at the height of the market back then. Now that property is worth over $1.5 million. So it's it was a great investment. And the same thing is happening in Detroit. You can buy the properties, just like you're saying, especially with a person like yourself out there that's actually managing the properties and everything. You can see the growth just by investing in someone that has already done their market and they know exactly what to purchase in. So I'm looking forward to meeting you and, getting with you, and let's do some deals out there. I would love to do that. I think it's a great opportunity for people to grow their money in real estate. And real estate is one of the best things that you can ever buy in because it's it. This is it. This is all the real estate we have. Even if the property values go down, they're going to go back up. So real estate is always the number one investment because people are always looking for places to live. So I totally agree with you. I love your analogy.
Well, I'm looking for 12 disciples, and I put that out there before. And here what these disciples would do. You all know I use 12 disciples because most black people are familiar with disciples because they are biblical, okay? I'm looking for 12 disciples. That's 12 people who will work to get that score. If it's not up, I can help them do it. Get their credit score up to at least, get it up to 800. And I don't believe there's anything that we go out there to buy with 12 800s that we can't get. So if you want to be a disciple, don't come here playing. I'm checking your credit first and see what you're willing to do. Because time is of essence. We don't have time to play around, you all. We got to jump on this bandwagon now. Wherever the investment is to be, you need to invest someplace. Stop spending your money on stuff that doesn't make sense. Stop leaving your children in this economic ditch and prepare something for them. So back to you, Debra. I'm just excited, so excited. I hope you have some books when you come. Are you bringing books?
Yes, we will have books with us. Yes.
Okay, good. You want to give that location again where I know she's going to be at Black Writers on Tour in Southern California Black Business Expo this Saturday, going down, you guys, at the Carson Community Center, 801 East Carson Street. That's in Carson. It is free. General admission is free. Parking is free. There's something for everybody. Bring your whole family. We have an outstanding workshop for youth. Dealing with youth entrepreneurs. There's a lot of young people in this country that's doing very well as entrepreneurs. So we understand that business ownership and home ownership are the keys for survival for the black community. And we have a workshop keeping children and youth out of prison. This seminar is conducted by an attorney from Atlanta, Georgia. She's the founder of Watchdog for Justice, and this seminar is for youth and their parents, because parents need to know. And we also have Let the Elders Speak, and our celebrity guest speaker is Miss Siretta Jackson. She was the young Celie on Color Purple. You guys want to come out and see her. She has her own line of hair product. She does the Healthy Hair Expo. And Debra, she have authored a book talk about the hair conspiracy and the impact it has on your health and your wealth. You guys need to come out and hear her.
Yes. And our Detroit Dream Investment Opportunity Session will be held at the Hot and Cold Cafe, 4331 Degnan Boulevard in Los Angeles, in Leimert Park. The tickets are $75, and that includes some food with our presentation, and we'll be doing networking between 6 and 7, and then the investment presentation will begin from 7 to 9. If you come down to our table in the atrium at Black Writers on Tour this Saturday, we will give you a guest voucher to reduce the cost of that ticket.
All right. So you want to be at the Carson Community Center for a whole lot of reasons this weekend, because there's so much happening. I am really excited.
Yes.
And I know Tawana is really excited because she loves real estate.
Yes.
I mean, I should name her. She should make real estate her middle name. Let's change your name, girl. Put it on your birth certificate.
It's probably tattooed on her body somewhere.
It is. Real estate.
And if you
I want to tell everybody, invest in real estate, because that's it. I mean, your money grows automatically. I mean, I've seen such growth within the past 20 years on just holding real estate, just holding it. Mm-hmm. Because the value,
your money grows, and you have tax benefits at the end of the year.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Especially with the new tax laws under your new president, you guys, if you don't have real estate and don't have a business, and real estate is a business, then you don't have anything going for yourself. So you might as well just lay down and roll over and say, well, you know what? Here's my money. Just take my money. Because I don't have real estate. I don't have a business. So I'm scared to invest. I'm scared to buy a house. So I'm scared, but I'm not scared to pay tax. That's where you are. That's what you're saying.
Right.
Anyway, you guys, this is exciting. And this show is going to re-air, you all, at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And all the people that you know who didn't get a chance to hear this show, you need to be email, texting, faxing, doing something, because they need to hear about this. When you hear something good, you need to spread the word. If, like we spread it about Black Panther, the movie, start spreading this, because we didn't get our 40 acres and a mule, but you can buy your land now. You didn't get it, but you can get it. You can buy it.
Right. And if you're not able to make the investor, which I hope you're able to make it, but the seats are limited. So if for some reason they're sold out, you can contact Zabrina, Zabrina, at DetroitDreamis.com, or you can visit us at www.DetroitDreamis.com. And we'll be more than happy to give you more information about upcoming events and how you can invest. And we hold webinars, and I have conference calls with people all over the world about investing in Detroit.
Wow, I am so proud of you, sister. I tell you, sisters are doing it for themselves. This is absolutely incredible, and we are going to raise the bar, because we just cannot go out landless. It is such a word, isn't it? Is that such a word, landless?
Oh, there's a lot of people that are landless. most people are landless.
Well, we know what that means, though, right? Landless.
And you know how we make up words, right?
Landless.
Yeah. You don't want to leave your children landless, okay?
Yeah,
that's right. You don't want to. You want to have heirs. You want to have heirs. You want to develop heirs, not children. Heirs.
Wow, this is absolutely. Well, you guys, like I said, it's so much going down at Black Writers on Tour in Southern California Black Business Expo. It's the place to be this Saturday, March 30th, from 9 to 6 p.m. Free general admission, free parking, something for grandmama, something for the kids. You guys, there's something for everybody. Hop in that wagon, jump in that buggy, or get on your scooter. I don't care how you get there. You just need to get there. That's what I'm talking about. I'll be looking to see you. I'll be running all over the place. I might just get on one of these little scooters myself. What do they call them, these little things all over the city now?
Oh, that's what they call them, scooters, electric scooters.
Granny gonna be riding, okay?
Okay. We got a caller that just joined. You got about a minute, caller.
No, that was me.
That was you? Okay.
That was me. We got lost.
Okay. All right.
Okay, you guys. Well, the clock on the wall said that's all. Miss Debra, we appreciate you. We thank you. Looking forward to seeing you this weekend. And y'all know what to do. You got to be there. You don't get things free all the time, but this is absolutely free. And free parking. As my dad would say, you can't beat that with a stick.
Yeah. Nope.
All right. Thank you, Debra. Thank you, Shawana. Mr. Keith, I'll see you all Saturday. All roads must lead to the Carson Community Center.
Okay.
801 East Carson, California. I'll see you there with bells on. Got a special dress somewhere, and y'all better get there just to see me, okay?
Just see the dress, okay? All right.